What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 5, Rebuilding the Carolina Panthers. Our first season behind us, our first offseason ahead of us. We are going to review season 1 and then hop into an exciting offseason ahead of us. So Teddy Bridgewater would have reached 4,000 yards in an excellent kind of game manager role this year had he played week 17 when PJ Walker kind of showed us what he's got. Christian McCaffrey did his job as our lead back. Not quite a 1,000 season, but very good nonetheless. And then these receivers really kind of stepped up. Curtis Samuel had some ups and downs. He is up for contract this offseason, so we do have to make a decision on him. DJ Moore was rather quiet. He did miss a few games for injury this year. And then Ian Thomas, a decent little season in a bit of a prove-it year for him. 6 touchdowns, over 500 yards. So I do like where we're at on the offensive side of the ball. Maybe the offensive line could use a little bit of help. And then this young defense really stepped up as well. We could probably use some bigger names, some real stars on this defense to really stand out. But the pass rush, Derrick Brown, Brian Burns, Ichar Gross-Matos only ends with 3.5 sacks. It felt like he was much better than that. Does have 64 tackles, though, and 13 TFLs. So still a really good season. Perhaps those 3.5 sacks he did have really came at opportune moments. Jeremy Chinn being kind of the standout young defensive star for us. 104 tackles, 3 picks, a sack. So a really good season, even that pick 6 early on in the season that helped us win a game. So I am really happy with where this team is at. We could just really use some stars to be added to this team. And then, of course, the quarterback situation being probably the biggest question mark of the offseason. On if we go with Teddy Bridgewater again, or maybe the draft presents some opportunities. We did finish 7-9 though, so we'll have a middling pick. Luckily enough, it looks like a lot of middling teams this year, so we will have a top 10-ish pick here. Looks like almost 8 or 9 there at 7-9, so that's definitely good. Definitely going to present an opportunity to potentially get a quarterback or even move up to get a quarterback. So as far as the Pro Bowl is concerned, let's take a peek. Not looking like a whole lot of action for us, at least. Just going to keep scrolling. Did we get anybody in? Derrick Brown makes the Pro Bowl as a rookie. Love to see that with a 10-sack season. He will almost certainly be getting a dev boost after having normal development. Jeremy Chinn makes the Pro Bowl. Could he potentially be moving up to superstar development? That would be huge. So our first 2 picks, Jeremy Chinn and Derrick Brown, make the Pro Bowl as rookies. Let's see what kind of awards we're looking at, what kind of dev boosts we're looking at. We'll do our upgrades. Can't really ask for much more in year 1 to have your top 2 picks be Pro Bowlers on the defensive side of the ball. And it's going to be a Saints-Steelers Super Bowl, a battle of veterans, Big Ben and Drew Brees. That'd be an exciting matchup. MVP for once was actually pretty realistic. Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray. No Josh Allen this year. Matthew Stafford, a bounce back year. Kendrick's getting some respect, Defensive Player of the Year. We do miss out on Defensive Rookie, but Chinn and Derrick Brown right there. So really no awards for us, but we did have some big Pro Bowlers. And let's see what kind of dev boosts we would be looking at here. Offensive side of the ball, looks like everyone stayed the same. And then on the defense, perhaps that's actually next week, the Super Bowl week. Oh, we're in the Super Bowl week. So I do think we're going to need to interfere here, because with Derrick Brown and Jeremy Chinn not getting a single dev boost for making the Pro Bowl, I think that's justified. So I'm going to put Derrick Brown just up to star. He'll have a chance next year to go up to superstar if he can repeat. And then Jeremy Chinn was so good this year. Makes the Pro Bowl. I think superstar is fair for him to really establish himself as a foundational piece of this defense moving forward as that dime linebacker, box safety hybrid type of guy. And then we will look around the league to kind of balance what we just did. So we're going to try and find a pair of interior defensive linemen. Looks like Montravius Adams, a young gun for the Green Bay Packers, had a good season, so we'll go ahead and give him star. And Zach Allen for the Cardinals, only 1.5 sacks, but 15 TFLs, a ton for an interior guy. So we'll give him star. So a pair of NFC interior linemen matching Derrick Brown. And then how about a couple defensive backs? Darryl Roberts gets 6 interceptions coming over from the Jets to the to the Detroit Lions. A 6 interception season for the veteran. Detroit was outstanding this year, so let's just make him like an actual superstar. That's pretty impressive, the year he just had. So a huge boost for Darryl Roberts. 30 years old, but you see those late breakouts sometimes. And Taylor Rapp for the Rams. He did earn star, but let's give him some overall boost here. So we've restored balance to the force. It's time to do our upgrades and then take a look at our re-signings as well. Jeremy Chin, gonna go run support here, creeping up now towards getting that superstar trait, the ability slot to be unlocked. Ian Thomas, he is going to get an upgrade, going to get up to a 70 at least for one last little kind of prove it year here. He did just enough, I think, to hang on to at least the starting job heading into next season. Not to say we wouldn't bring someone else in. And then we'll just do TJ Green here and sim the rest of them. So 15 players to renegotiate. Gus Edwards did have a good season. He's asking for a little bit too much, though, for a backup power back. I think it's a pretty replaceable spot. Jimmy Moreland was nice. I definitely want to offer him a contract. He wants about 3.5 a year. I'm going to see if he might take a little bit less. You know, he did start, but definitely a spot that we could upgrade and maybe even start Troy Pride over him. But if he's willing to take a lot less here, I don't mind bringing him back. Someone that has starting experience here, and he will come back on that contract. Russell Okung, still a 77 here. We have no answer at left tackle. He only wants 1 year at 33 years old. To me, this is a no-brainer to bring him back. We're going to give him about $10 million a year. He did stay healthy the entire season and really helped us out. So he's not interested in re-signing. That makes that interesting there. Might want to go ring chase or something. Maybe we get him back. Maybe we franchise tag him. I don't know. Let's talk to Curtis Samuel first. He wants 3 years, $27 million. That is definitely steep for our third wide receiver option. He did have an excellent season. Let's have a little conversation here, Curtis. I can't pay you $9 million a year, but I don't think you're going to get that on the open market either. What I can offer you is 3 years, $15 million. All right, buddy, go test the market. See how it fares. See if you get half of what I just offered. Joe Giles Harris never played, but I'm going to offer him a cheap 2-year deal. He's not interested in signing. Same thing for George Odom. Geez, these guys really just don't want to come back. John Miller actually started at left guard. He's not a great run blocker, but is our best option as a pass blocker. He wants 2 years, $8.8 million. You know, we aren't exactly swimming in cap space. I'm going to let him go. How about Hunter Bryant? You want to come back? Wow. All right, these guys just want nothing to do with the program. That's all right. We want guys that want to be here. So I'd think about the franchise tag here on Russell Okung, but after seeing the amount of cap space we have left, I'm going to just kind of let him hit, and maybe we pay up for him in free agency once we see how the market plays out. But not a very successful wave of getting these guys to come back. They haven't exactly bought into the program here, bought into what we're selling. But let's see what stage 1 of free agency holds for us. We have $15.7 million in cap space. Might be able to clear that up somewhere. Some big names hitting the market. Kenny Clark, Packers unable to afford him. Chris Jones, same thing for the Chiefs. Joey Bosa, the Chargers trying to get him back but could not work out a deal before he hit the market. Marcus Williams and the Saints couldn't reach a deal. Could absolutely see that. So some big names here. Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson, some wide receiver option. Trent Williams, not retained by the 49ers. Hunter Henry hits the market, so definitely some big names here. We talked about that lack of true impact superstar talent, if we could land one of them in this class of free agents, that would be awesome. I do want to take a look at our salary situation because that is just not going to be enough. It might be time to let K'Wan Short go. He's 32 years old. On the last year of his deal, we clear a ton of money to let him go. That to me is a bit of a no-brainer. So that will clear a ton of room here. The other guy I think I'm going to release here is Trey Boston. We can clear about $4.5 million. We would take a penalty, but he's on the last year of his deal. We actually sort of benched him at the end of the year for Kenny Robinson, who played well. So we're going to let Trey Boston go. A couple of veteran cap releases here. Mike Davis, let him go. That one's pretty obvious. Clears about $3 million. Justin Burris as well. I just don't think he's all that good of a player. He's 28 years old. I don't think there's really a spot for him on this team next year, to be honest. So we're going to let him go. So that should give us a lot more wiggle room here. Brings us up to $40 million in cap space. And with the release of Short in the middle there, I'm definitely looking at Chris Jones here. Kenny Clark tempting as well. I think Derrick Brown fills a little more of that run stuffer role, although Brown did show some nice things as a pass rusher. But to get Chris Jones here, I think it's actually pretty realistic, too. He's going to be able to get his money here. Can fill the void left by K'Wan Short. Doesn't need to ring chase. He just won one with the Chiefs. But the Chiefs having to pay Patrick Mahomes, not enough room to keep Chris Jones around. Kind of almost forced to go with Frank Clark instead with a massive contract. So I really like this signing here. We are going to give him over $20 million a year, $21 million over 4 years to keep it realistic. But that will give us that star talent and really round out this defensive line to build this defense into something special. We still have $21 million to work with here. Now, something to at least entertain is Dak Prescott hits the market here. This is a world where he didn't play so well for the Dallas Cowboys, and they decide to move on, almost identical to the Kirk Cousins situation. But I honestly don't know how much better he's going to play than Teddy Bridgewater played last year, so I don't think that's necessary. Plenty of backs hit the market here. I definitely want to bring in a relief pitcher here for Christian McCaffrey. Can you think of a much better 1-2 punch than Chris Carson and Christian McCaffrey? Now, I'm not going to offer him a ton of money, but a guy that is an undrafted free agent or a 7th-round pick, pedigree, a guy that has injury questions, has kind of dropped off at this point in his career. I don't think he's going to demand all that much money on the open market. He's actually not getting any offers. So a 1-year, about $4 million contract here I think is fair market for Chris Carson. He doesn't love it right now, but he might not have a choice. Some big-name wide receivers do hit the market here. Not receiving offers quite yet. But we're not swimming in cap space here. DJ Moore's contract is looming as well. So I don't think that's the most smart use of our money. But Curtis Samuel is not receiving any offers. And just because I'm petty, I'm going to offer him less than than we offered him before. 3 years, $12.3 million. And he might not have an option. Some good tight ends do hit the market. Definitely something we'd want to think about. Hunter Henry currently not receiving any offers. I don't hate the idea of a big 1-year prove-it deal, but that would basically take up the rest of our cap space here. It might be better to spend that money on the offensive line. Russell Okung not getting any offers yet. I think bringing him back might be the way to go. Linebacker also a need here. Do we bring in a Levante David? Keep him in the division here. It's a huge need at linebacker there. Demario Davis could work as well. I swear, Demario Davis, Levante David, and Thomas Davis are all just destined for the NFC South at some point, one or another. I always get those three confused. Would be pretty fitting to keep one of them here. Demario Davis, 32 years old. Levante David, 31. Either way here, I do think that left tackle spot is our biggest problem at the moment, though. We also need a veteran corner. So money's starting to get a little tight here. I want to come back and look where we might be able to save some more money. Some of these lower level players on our roster are actually pretty expensive. We are going to have to fill out that tight end depth chart at some point. We do have draft picks to get that done, though. Yeah, like Jordan Kunasek is over $1 million cap hit right now. That's just, that's almost double the minimum. Arthur Mollett at $1 million. We don't need him. So that cleared up about $3 million, $4 million. I am going to start with Russell Okung. Now, again, because I'm petty, I'm going to offer him less. He has now hit the market and nobody is interested. So I am going to drive this down to about $7 million. Hope he likes that. He does. That brings us to $9.8 million. And with our $9.83 million in cap space left, I am going to talk to Levante David, who's not getting any offers here. Going to go about, a little over $9 million a year here. If we get all of our signings, that'll put us at $1.32 million in cap space remaining. So that is a great offer sheet of first week signings. Let's see who we get. Just Chris Jones so far. Okay. That's a little surprising. We were lowballing some guys. So who's getting offers now? All right, Levante David has a market all of a sudden. The other guys do not. I might have to pull out of the Levante David sweepstakes now. But linebacker's still in need. What about Demario Davis? He is not getting any offers. So he's 32, so I'm actually going to go with a 1-year deal at about $9 a year, or for the year. He doesn't love it, but we still are the top bids. We're going to roll the dice. We'll reassess in the final week of free agency here. All right, we got Curtis Samuel back, but the other guys are staying stubborn. Russell Okung now has a market, so that's going to hurt. We are going to withdraw all of our offers here and take a new look with our $21 million that are still on the table. Kenny Clark, still no offers. Someone will pick him up. I think I will match the offer on Russell Okung here. We really want to make sure we have that offensive line in acceptable condition. He is getting a little more expensive, though. Good for you, man. Get your money. He played the market well, and he's going to get $11.5 million from us. Andrew Wiley would be an upgrade at guard. He doesn't currently have any offers. We're going to lowball him at $2.5 a year. He might just take that. I think we might have to get a little cheaper at linebacker, though. Could go with a Jatavis Brown, Eric Wilson. We could go up to 2 years on Demario Davis. Might not be the worst idea, especially considering the way the market looks right now. So maybe that's the play here. Let's go 2 years. But it is going to be a little cheaper, Demario, but you will get 2 years. He likes the deal better. Corner is definitely a problem for us, but we're just going to have to figure that out as we go. I think these other needs are a little more pressing. We do have Troy Pride kind of waiting on his opportunity. All right, fingers crossed. These players have been stubborn. They don't want to come and play in Carolina. Russell Okung declines us, so left tackle becomes a glaring weakness for us. We do get Demario Davis in here, though, on honestly a bit of a team-friendly 2-year contract. But he's going to kind of get the opportunity to get revenge on his former team there with the Saints and be a stud for us. We're going to move him to middle linebacker. So while he is aging, he definitely can make an instant impact there in the middle. He's got that superstar X factor as well. And then getting Chris Jones next to Derrick Brown. Wow. So it's draft week. We've had a fun offseason to this point. Still some pretty gaping holes that we're hoping to patch up in the draft. We are going to have a little bit of money in the preseason free agency to patch up, like corner, maybe tackle. We'll see how that all plays out. We also need to monitor this draft and talk about potentially trading up. We do have the 9th overall pick, so do we talk about mortgaging the future to go get a Trevor Lawrence? I don't know who picks number 1, if the pick would be on the table. It is the Patriots who have the number 1 pick, and they just signed Dak Prescott, so they would not be taking a rookie quarterback here. that actually feels like something we might be able to pull off to go up and get Trevor Lawrence. Now, the Jags have a ton of picks, the 3rd and 8th pick, so we would really have to outbid that somehow if we were to go up to the number 1 pick. So I really think this is the hardest decision I've ever had to make in any of my rebuilds. Do we move up, mortgage the future for our future Trevor Lawrence, local guy out at Clemson? Is this team a quarterback away from taking that leap? And I honestly think the answer might be yes. We have some holes on the offensive line, but other than that, I really like where we're at. I think the defense especially is in pretty good shape. I'm really strongly thinking about this. It would take a 1st and 2nd this year, a 1st and 2nd next year, probably a 4th round pick in there as well, to go from 9 to 1. But I think I'm going to do it, man. I really think it's going to be worth it. Trevor Lawrence is that dude. So we will give them this package and then do a secondary trade here. We're going to give them our 4th this year, our 2nd and 5th round pick next year. So 6 picks to the Patriots for 1. We knew it had to be expensive to come up here and get ahead of the Jaguars. It's going to make drafting really hard. We're going to have to be really efficient with our picks. But to get a potentially elite quarterback, someone that's basically a generational talent here and a local guy in Trevor Lawrence that's going to be potential savior of this organization, I do think it's worth it. So it's a big move, but here we go. Trevor Lawrence, 79 overall, hidden development. Gonna have to make a decision about the haircut, Cole McDonald style, but really excited for the future now with Trevor Lawrence and what we're building here in Carolina. Now, after making that trade, we definitely are not going to be moving up at any point here. Let's see who the Jags end up. They go with a tackle there at 3. But definitely not moving up. Not going to give up any more picks. Might consider trading down, but we are going to skip ahead to the 3rd round. And I see a corner that actually looks like a total stud. Out of Auburn, 6 feet, can press, man zone. This looks like a total steal of a pick here. 69 overall, normal dev, but he can play. I think he's going to start on the outside for us. I think that's a stellar pick. So on to the 5th round now. I'm definitely looking offensive line here. Now, keep in mind, Greg Little can play tackle if we need to move him back out to left after starting a year at right guard. Our highest rated guard graded right now is Mike Caliendo out of Western Michigan. So I believe him and Taylor Moton both out of Western Michigan. 67 overall, not bad. He's definitely going to start for us at guard. So a good pick. You got to make good picks like that if you are going to trade away most of your draft. So the 6th round pick here. I'm going to look at a wide receiver. We could just draft for speed. Maybe just a kick returner and Anthony Schwartz, but that 4.3, 340 starting to slip here. I don't know how you pass up that kind of speed in this offense late here. He could be the long-term replacement. Oh my God, he's actually good. Anthony Schwartz. He's probably going to be the long-term replacement to Robbie Anderson. So an unreal draft here. Coming away with some impact players after trading away most of the draft. Let's draft an actual tackle, though, here at the end. Just swing for the fences with the athlete here out of FIU, 6'5", 320. You know, Carolina's actually had a good track record going with really, thick, explosive offensive linemen. We're going to go with Dimitri Demery here, or Dantone Demery. Definitely a project, but a very, very good athlete. And that is our draft and our offseason. Wow. So let's review the roster before we look at preseason signings here in week 1. Trevor Lawrence looking good here in number 16. Definitely need a backup running back or 2. Jordan Scarlett, a 5th round pick from 2018. He could play that power back role if we need it. This wide receiver room filled out very quickly after just having Anderson and DJ Moore in the offseason. We do need some depth there. Need tight end depth. Left tackle, guard, we need one of them to be upgraded for sure. We're going to need to basically sign best player available at those two positions, and we'll play Greg Little at left tackle if we can't find a tackle. The offense is much more thin than the defense. That's actually in pretty good shape. We need another linebacker in here. But the secondary actually rounded out pretty well. I'm actually excited about Roger McCreary, Troy Pride, probably going to start in the slot this year. You know, him and Jimmy Moreland will duke it out. They're both good slot corners, and Pride can step outside if we have injuries. So they're young. They're definitely developmental. Stanley Thomas Oliver as well. But I like the corner room in a upside kind of way, I guess. Kenny Robinson, I'm prepared to start him at free safety. And we know what Jeremy Chin brings to the table. So let's just take a peek. Todd Gurley does slip through the cracks, as does Chris Carson. Now, we wanted Chris Carson all along. That's almost exactly what we were offering him. So let's bring him in. That is an excellent punch, counter punch rather, to Christian McCaffrey. And then we have found a hidden gem here. Actually, it's hidden development. A slot receiver type out of Appalachian State. There it is. Third time's the charm. We're going to bring him in. And he's actually exactly what we need. Kind of that bigger bodied slot. We need another wide receiver on this roster as well. So Thomas Hennigan, welcome to the team. I'm going to sign James O'Shaughnessy here as our second tight end. Can do a little bit of everything, a good blocker. We do still need another guy. Looks like Hunter Bryant was never picked up, so we'll bring him back. And then on the offensive line, it's slim pickings. Maybe we go with Mike Person at right guard. Marcus Gilbert is available. Kind of fits the mold here, actually. It's basically a poor man's version of what we had in Russell Okung. We can kick him right over to left tackle. And then we just need one linebacker here. We're going to go the youth route here. Olakunle Fadukasi. I'm assuming a brother or relative of Falorenzo Fadukasi for the New York Jets. So that fills out the roster. 53 players. Bit of an abnormal preseason. We're going to have to just imagine that we signed a bunch of other guys and they didn't make the team, but no cuts in this preseason. So on to week 2, where we're going to set our focus players. Chris Carson, I suppose that's why he fell through the cracks a little bit. That injury concern, the pulled groin, 4-week injury, should be back towards the start of the season. Might be a little thin at running back for the first week. But for the focus players, we definitely want to go Trevor Lawrence. I think Brian Burns, let's try to keep getting him up to that star level. And same thing to be said about Jeremy Chin. So these are kind of the cornerstone players to build around for this year. Hoping Burns can really take that next step this year. So as I said, no cuts. We have the 53 filled out. We're going to go to week 1, set our goals, do our upgrades, and then we will be on our way, ready for a super exciting second season. This was a fun offseason. I'm going to set my goal to make the playoffs. We came pretty close last year. Also need to set the captains. I don't know if Trevor Lawrence as a rookie is going to earn that. We got McCaffrey. Give Matt Paradis a captain badge. Demario Davis, the veteran coming in, we'll make him a captain. And how about Jeremy Chin? Taking more of a leadership role this season. We'll do that upgrade while we're sitting here. Ooh, baby. Let's go. And Graham Gano, special teams captain. Get these upgrades out of the way. Brian Burns has one. Go speed rusher. Troy Pride. I am going to go, I think, zone, actually, just because he really needs to improve on that. Oh, wow. Speed boost and a zone and tackle. That'll definitely help him in the slot. Hunter Bryant, work on your blocking, please, sir. And Natrell Jamerson, probably just a special teamer. Okay. Okay, that was fun. I am pumped up for this season. Please hit that like button down below. Cheers as always, and we'll see you for the next one. Peace.